Good day there once again, viewers. Your mate Kamikaze78 here, coming to you guys with some more PUBG content. So guys, a couple of days ago, the September Early Access update for PUBG went live, and with it, a collection of additions, changes, and optimizations that are sure to improve the overall experience of the game. In this video, we're going to be having a chat about some of the more significant things to have made an appearance in this update, as well as take a little bit of a look at some of the things that are coming in the long term that were also mentioned in the patch notes for this update. I won't be able to go through the entire list of patch notes in this one video because, well, we would be here all day in that case, but if you feel inclined to read the entire list of patch notes, then there is a link in the description down below for your viewing pleasure. But without further ado, let's dive into the September update for PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. So the very first thing that was addressed in the patch notes for this update was optimization, and thankfully the news surrounding optimization is good all around, great in fact. Shadows have particularly received a bit of a touch-up as far as performance goes, which was kind of a must for this update, considering that from this point on, the distance at which shadows are rendered is synchronized across all graphics settings to ensure more fair play. So credit really has to go to the PUBG team for attempting to make the game more fair from a graphical standpoint, all the while keeping performance in mind for those who don't exactly have the best of PCs. Now, returning to the patch notes, the optimization team have also improved the way in which buildings are loaded in, and is going to particularly improve the experience for low-end PC users. And as someone who is currently running the game on a low-end PC, this is music to my goddamn ears. No more laggy drops at the start of the game, getting me killed if my PC decides to take a massive shit. The client-side and server-side performance was also improved while multiple vehicles are in close vicinity of one another, which will hopefully make the whole multi-vehicle clusterfucks that occur sometimes make a little bit more sense. And on top of all that, the UI was also optimized, and considering the amount of times that you need to quickly dart in and out of the inventory screen in PUBG, that is also an important optimization to make. Moving on to some of the additions made to the game in this update, one of the more notable ones included the introduction of a brand new weapon, the Mini 14 DMR. The Mini 14 is fed with 5.56 rounds, thus making it the lowest damaging weapon of the DMR category, but trades damage for accuracy with its beeline muzzle velocity and minimal bullet drop, meaning that what you point this rifle at, in most cases, is what it's going to hit. So for those who found the other DMRs a bit tough to use from a muzzle velocity standpoint, this is going to be the weapon for you. And good news guys, this is going to be the first weapon in a long time that hasn't been totally restricted to airdrops. Oh my god, how about that? And I've got to say guys that in my time of using the weapon, it's an absolute beast. Sure, it might not be packing the same amount of damage that we see with the SKS or even the MK14 DMR, but its rate of fire and overall accuracy makes it a very welcome addition to the game that I'm sure many players will be able to put to good use. And it sounds like a fucking beast. I've got to say the weapon sound of this gun is so satisfying to use. So yes guys, get your hands on this weapon, it's a great deal of fun. Now as far as weaponry additions / changes go, the Tommy gun was also removed from the care packages and added to the standard loot table with some slight modifications made to it for balance reasons. For example, you will now need to find an extended SMG mag to get the magazine sizes that you remember seeing on the weapon when it was found in care packages. Just a nice little balance update made in that regard. Now another massive part of this update was the introduction of a new weather effect and the new town that can be found to the east of Stalba. The Foggy weather effect is now in full deployment on the live servers and has a low probability to occur. This is a weather effect that, well, as the name suggests, reduces visibility considerably and naturally pushes the engagement ranges of firefights closer together due to that reduced visibility. So if you happen to find yourself in this said weather, it might be time to consider ditching your beloved sniper rifles in favor for something a little less ranged. I can also imagine that suppressors and flash suppressors are going to become even more powerful with this weather effect in play and its lower visibility, as there's going to be an added emphasis on noise over anything else for detecting enemies. So in other words, get ready for some Foggy CQC skirmishes my friends. I am personally really looking forward to getting in there and playing this weather effect to see how it changes the game. The new town to the east of Stalba also provides a new drop zone for players on the northeastern side of the map, which was, if I'm honest, quite a bland piece of the map prior to this patch. Now with a new small small town in play, we might see some more drops and firefights on that side of the island. More variety in where firefights break out is fine by me all the time. Now, beyond the major optimization passes and additions to the game, some other changes and tweaks were introduced in this patch that are certainly worth a quick mention. Characters that are knocked out underwater will now obey the laws of biology and have an oxygen meter. So no, you can no longer get downed underwater and transform into fucking Aquaman. Those days are long gone. The balance and mechanics of certain throwables were also adjusted slightly to make them feel a little bit more useful and usable in the first place. It is now possible to toggle between an underarm or an overarm throw by clicking the right mouse button by default before you even start throwing the grenade. Cooking grenades is now a manual process, and the new animations for throwing grenades allows for grenades to be thrown at a more accurate trajectory and at faster speeds. Much like CSGO, however, your movement trajectory and speed will now also affect the arc at which the grenade is thrown at, so that's now something to keep in mind as well when playing around with these explosives. The firing mode on a weapon is consistent now with the firing mode that was selected before the weapon was dropped, so in other words, if you kill an enemy that had his weapon in full auto mode and you pick it back up, then it will remain to be in that full auto mode as well. New sounds are also in the game for when you are using consumables, so if you are stuck in an awkward in a building standoff, listen out for these new sounds as they might tell you when you have the perfect opportunity to strike while your enemy is healing. It is now also possible to change the crosshair color, which is something that I know a lot of people are keen on nowadays. Now that right there is basically everything I wanted to talk about from a what happened in this patch perspective, but within the patch notes there were a couple of notes from the developers regarding a couple of topics that the community has been incredibly concerned about lately, including FPP servers and vaulting. So when it comes to FPP servers, the short and sweet of the situation is that the developers are looking at player number counts for regions that don't have all of the FPP modes available yet to decide when to incorporate the modes into the live game. The main concern that the developers have at this point in time with the FPP only servers in certain regions is that by introducing these FPP modes to these regions is that they'll segment the player count too much to the point where finding games is going to become too difficult for certain players on certain servers. And I know that there are some people who are really passionate about getting more FPP servers to their local region, but we do have to be patient with the developers on this one. They know that we want them, which is shown by the response from the developers to the Oceania community's outcry for FPP servers and how they added FPP duos in response to a petition to fix our FPP itch. But we do have to be patient, guys. FPP servers aren't on the top of their priority list right now, as optimization and preparing the game for a full release comes first. And of course, when it comes to vaulting, it is planned for release in November at some point, with the possibility of tests showing up earlier as time goes on. Keep an eye on any future updates for potential releases on the vaulting system for testing on the developer blogs and things like that, guys. I know that a lot of people have been very vocal about the lacking amount of vaulting in these patches, but we do have to be patient once again, guys. We cannot rush quality from these developers. And guys, that pretty much wraps up everything I wanted to talk about in this video regarding the September update for PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. If you guys enjoyed today's video, then a backhand of that like button would be greatly appreciated, and let me know in the comment section down below what your favorite part of this update has been, whether it be the optimization, the new weapon, or maybe you wish that they'd added something by this point in time. I'll leave it in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. If you guys find yourself backhanding that like button and you're new to the channel, then why don't you go around and backhand that subscribe button whilst you're at it to keep up to date with the content in which I'm releasing here on my channel. Once again, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Peace out, and I'll be seeing you all next time. Have a good one.